Picture this. It's World War II, deep in the heart of Europe. Allied forces are locked in a desperate struggle against the Axis powers. But what if I told you that one of the most effective American units on the battlefield never fired a single shot in anger? What if their greatest weapons were not cannons and tanks, but paintbrushes, loudspeakers, and rubber? This is the incredible top-secret story of the Ghost Army. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on one of history's most ingenious military deceptions. This wasn't a fighting force in the traditional sense. It was a unit comprised of artists, sound engineers, actors, and designers, officially known as the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops. Their mission? To fool the German army on a massive scale, using nothing but pure creativity and illusion. The Ghost Army was the brainchild of American military planners who were inspired by British deception tactics used in North Africa. The idea was simple but audacious. Create the illusion of a massive army where there was none, drawing enemy forces away from real strategic targets. To pull this off, they recruited over 1,000 men from art schools, advertising agencies, and stage production companies across the United States. Future legends like fashion designer Bill Blass, painter Ellsworth Kelly, and photographer Art Kane were all part of this extraordinary group. Their arsenal was unlike anything the world had ever seen. Instead of real Sherman tanks, they had inflatable rubber replicas that from a distance or from the air were indistinguishable from the real thing. They had fleets of inflatable trucks, artillery pieces, and even airplanes. A handful of men could inflate an entire armored division in just a few hours, creating a phantom force ready to attack. Imagine being a German reconnaissance pilot, flying over the French countryside and spotting what looks like a 30,000-man army massing near the front lines. You'd rush back to report it, and the German High Command would scramble to move their panzer divisions to counter this threat. But the threat was literally full of hot air. But visual deception was only one part of the puzzle. An army makes noise, and the Ghost Army had to sound the part. This is where the Sonic Deception Unit came in. Led by sound engineers from Hollywood, they traveled to Fort Knox to record the distinct sounds of armored and infantry units. They captured everything: the clatter of tank treads, the rumble of truck engines, the sounds of soldiers digging trenches, and even the casual chatter of troops. These recordings were then mixed into elaborate audio programs, which were played from powerful speakers mounted on half-tracks. At night, they could roll up near the front lines and blast these sounds, making a few hundred men sound like a full-strength division on the move. They could even mimic the sounds of an army building a pontoon bridge in the dead of night, creating panic and confusion in the enemy ranks. The third element of their strategy was radio deception, or what they called spoof radio. A small team of radio operators would mimic the communication patterns of a real military unit. They learned the unique fist or sending style of other operators and would impersonate them, sending out a stream of fake messages. This created the illusion that a specific division's headquarters was operating in the area, reinforcing the visual and sonic illusions. German intelligence, listening in, would piece together this false information and conclude that a major Allied unit had moved, all according to the Ghost Army's script. And finally, there was the special effects component. This involved pure old-fashioned acting. Soldiers from the Ghost Army would drive into nearby French towns, deliberately seeking out cafes and shops known to have German spies. They would put on a show, talking loudly about their fictional unit, its commander, and their supposed battle plans. They would even sew fake unit patches onto their uniforms to sell the lie. A few soldiers would drive a single jeep in a loop to create the illusion of a long convoy, or kick up dust to simulate the movement of a large column. It was a complete theatrical production, played out on the stage of war. From the beaches of Normandy to the banks of the Rhine River, the Ghost Army conducted more than 20 major deceptions. Their most famous operation was codenamed Operation Viersen. In March 1945, the U.S. Ninth Army was preparing to cross the heavily fortified Rhine River. It was a critical and dangerous operation. To help them, the Ghost Army was tasked with drawing German attention about 10 miles south of the actual crossing point. For 2 days, they put on their greatest performance. They deployed their entire collection of inflatable tanks and artillery. They blasted their sonic recordings of bridge construction and armored movements day and night. Their radio operators filled the airwaves with phony traffic, and their actors spread rumors in nearby towns. The deception was so convincing that 2 German divisions, including panzer units, were diverted to face the phantom threat. This diversion significantly weakened the German defenses at the real crossing site, allowing the Ninth Army to cross the Rhine with far fewer casualties than anticipated. It's estimated that the Ghost Army's performance saved thousands of Allied lives. Their missions were incredibly dangerous. They were always close to the front lines, often deliberately drawing enemy fire to make their presence seem more authentic. While they carried personal weapons, their primary defense was their ability to deceive. If their cover was blown, their small, lightly armed unit would have been no match for a German panzer division. They were, in essence, bait, and they knew it. After the war, the story of the Ghost Army was classified top secret for more than 40 years. The men who served were sworn to secrecy. They couldn't tell their families, their friends, or anyone what they had truly done. They returned to their lives as artists, designers, and advertisers, their heroic and creative contributions to the war effort hidden from public view. It wasn't until the 1990s that the records were declassified, and their incredible story finally began to be told. The Ghost Army represents a unique intersection of creativity and warfare. It's a testament to the power of imagination and a powerful reminder that sometimes the most effective weapon isn't a bomb, but a brilliant idea. These men fought their war with ingenuity, saving lives not by taking them, but by outthinking their enemy with a masterful multimedia performance. They were artists of war, and their legacy is a masterpiece of military history. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into one of World War II's best-kept secrets. It's stories like these that show us the incredible and often unseen sides of human history. If you found this as fascinating as I did, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more stories from the forgotten pages of the past. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Ghost Army. Until next time, stay curious.